So we can just simply take those params and we can pass them here, right? So now that we've acted, we've carried out this, we have to wait for it because it's a future, right? We wait for this to complete and then we assert. What are we asserting? We're asserting to make sure that this got called, that that when this got called, that it returns the right data, and also we actually want to test that it actually even called the auth repository's create user method, right? So how do we do that? Let's start by making sure that it returns the right data, right? So what data are we expecting? We're expecting a write null, right? A write void function. So let's go ahead, a write the void result rather. So let's go ahead and save it in a variable called result, right? So what do you return? You return a future either, whatever, right? So, and then to assert that the values, so if you want to assert values and make sure that they're the same, assert two values or equate two values in the test, you use the expect function from the Flutter test package, and now it's asking for the actual thing we want to test. We want to equate something again, so we're expecting that the result. So this is basically like simple English, right? When the president gets called, so when that happens, the president responds to this for reasons best known to him. And then we go ahead and test the president. We say, I've told you, you must answer this way if he calls you. And then we go ahead and make the use case call the president. We say, hey, use case, why don't you call the president and see what he says? So we go ahead and call this, invoke it, it gets invoked. And now we're checking, we're going through the president's call history to listen in on his conversation with this person, and we're saying, all right, now we've got the result of the call that you made with him, Mr. President. Better hope that you told him what we told you to tell him, right? So what do we expect that the president told him? We expect that the president told him something, so we expect that the result equals. So you can totally do this without equals, but I prefer to wrap in equals, right? It makes sure that it's equal to this. If you leave the equals out, it actually does the same thing. But I don't know. I just like doing that. So we're expecting that the result or whatever the president told you is equal to a write null. Because this was what we told the president to tell you, right? So usually this is great, but personally, for best coding practices, I prefer to state the data type. So what is it? It's a write. It has a left and a right. So what were we expecting on the left? We're expecting a failure. So write failure, and on the right we're expecting void, right? But then remember that there's this fail. I don't want to have to import it each time. So what I usually do, if I'm using the right type, on the left I put dynamic. If I was using the left rather, right, on the left I will put the actual value, and on the right I put dynamic. This is what I do, right? So that way it's easier for me without having to import what I don't need, because I don't need this in this place. So I don't know, I don't have to import that.